Esteemed audience, debate is not debate if it's not on Kenya's #1 debate platform. This is the Agrrey Debaters Contest Season 9, Coast Region, Mombasa County. I am your host, Chris Boru.
And I am Esperanza Kapanga. In today's conversation, we are looking at the problem of ethnicity with the motion, a one-party state will curb ethnicity.
In the proposition, we have Dr. Agrrey High School.
And in the opposition, we have St. Thomas Girls High School. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes to make a statement.
A one-party state can curb ethnicity. What do we understand by this? A one-party state. A one-party state is a system where a nation is ruled by one political party. And this does not mean that there are no other political parties. It's just that there's only one ruling party and the others just are not that dominant. What is to curb? To curb is to stop or prevent something from happening. Ethnicity. This is the state of belonging to a particular social group which has national or cultural traditions, which share national or cultural traditions. So what does this motion imply? This motion tries to say that the introduction or formation of a one-party system in a nation can stop or prevent the division of the nation's people by their ethnic groups. I'd like to say that this motion is correct. It works. The one-party state can curb ethnicity. Take, for instance, countries like Cuba and China. When you take a look at these countries, you would think that the people who live in Cuba are just Cubans, and those who live in China are just the Chinese, obviously. But what do we not see? What we don't see is that China, for an example, did you know that China has 56 ethnic groups? I'm sure you did not. But why does China seem so united? Why, when you think of China, you think that it only has one ethnic group, and that is the Chinese, but in fact, it has 56 ethnic groups. This is because of the one-party system which China has adopted. Let us come back to Africa. The one-party system was a characteristic in African countries after independence, and it was rampant in the 1960s to the 1980s. Many scholars have attributed this to democracy being seen as alien in Africa. Others, like Kwame Nkrumah, said that democracy and multi-party system or regimes were divisive, hence were unfit for the newly independent African nations, which needed unification and enthusiasm to press forward as nations. In 1964, in our very own country, Kenya, KANU merged with KADU to form a one-party system that ruled Kenya. The theory as to this was that this one-party system would ensure cohesiveness and unity because the Kenyan country was multi-ethnic with over 42 tribes in Kenya. And they acknowledged this. And in order to bring these 42 countries together at that time, the only way they could do so was for the one-party system. Look at Kenya now, bragging of its democracy. In 2013, we had 8 candidates running for president. We were boasting that Kenya was a country with high democracy. But look at it now. Are we there yet? Are we there yet in terms of ethnicity? I don't think so. Thank you.
First opposer, you have 3 minutes to make your submissions.
The greatest tragedy in life is not the violence before, during, and after elections, but the opinions that ethnicity is bred by multi-party. Please benchmark in India. I'm Christine Wamboy from St. Thomas Girls, and I'm here to oppose the motion that states a one-party state will curb ethnicity. It's not that we are disagreeing with you, but we have just come with alternative ways. We have just come with alternative ways which can also curb ethnicity. And one of them is multi-party. Let's take a look at India. India has 1,866 registered political parties, and it is the highest country with political parties in the world. Yet yet it is united, they live in harmony, they live peacefully. Compared to Eritrea, which has only one party, and there is conflict, there is clashes everywhere. Every now and then we hear clashes, and they have one party states. According to UNHCR report of 2015 shows at least 5,000 Eritreans flee the country every month due to one party state. Is this really what you want? I beg no answer for this. I am going to submit that a one-party state will curb ethnicity. Instead, we can have a multi-party that can curb ethnicity. In addition, the chances of one-party state will curb ethnicity are very low. Its minimum amount of 0.001%. Remember that ethnicity is based on the negative side. In conclusion, it is not just multipartyism we are focusing on. Let us not accept the narrative that multiparty brings division. Multiparty does not bring division at all. And also, okay, you are saying that multiparty is not that right. We can also talk about zero party. There are countries with zero parties and they're doing well. More than the countries that are having one party and their clashes all over. They are not well developed and they are not able to curb ethnicity. Please, my fellow opponents or proposers, join hand with us and cross over the seas, joining hand with us, opposing the motion that states a one-party state will curb ethnicity. And in that, I'll rest my case.
Second proposer, you have 3 minutes for cross-examination.
Multi-party brings division. And this is witnessed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So I would like to tell my fellow, the opposer from the other side, that multi-party brings division. In what ways does this? First, a one-party state will curb ethnicity. How? How will this curb? A one-party state creates a sense of unity among the citizens of this great country. Let us look, for instance, the founding fathers of Africa, the founding fathers who helped Kenya attain independence. What did they do? They helped this country to gain independence, and they formed a one-party state in order to bring the people of different communities together. Secondly, a one-party state brings equal representation of the people, as the different leaders from different states, from different ethnic groups are represented in these states. So these people the leaders are able to make decisions as per those ethnic groups. In 1964, we saw our founding father, Jomo Kenyatta. A study showed that his party, Kenya African National Union, merged with Kenya African Democratic Union, so that they can bring the people of Kenya together, so that these people can unite, so that development programs can be initiated in the country that will drive the country forward. Thirdly, resources are equally and equitably distributed to all without fear or favor. In a multi-party state, there are strongholds. The ruling party will channel resources to these areas, to their areas, leaving other marginalized areas, the strongholds of the opposition party. So, this shows that multipartyism encourages ethnicity. But we are one-party state. All leaders work together. They advise one another so that they can come up with something that, with programs that, when well initiated, they will help the country. Fourthly, we have the Konza City development. Konza Techno City is the one where, after the multi-party state, whereby the program has stagnated in the country. There's no further developments, as studies show in Kora, no further developments of this strategy. That means that, why? Why is this so? This is because of the multipartyism in Kenya. But what about if there was a one-party state in Kenya? The leaders could have worked together to ensure that this is enforced, that the Konza Techno City program does not stagnate. I would also like to tell the proposing side that studies show in Kora, a research website, that in 1992, Kenya held its first multi-party election in 26 years. Since its introduction of multipartyism, The politics of tribe has been blamed for the country's political tribulations. Thus, multipartyism has been encouraging ethnicity. And that is the worst thing that Kenya did in 1992 by allowing multipartyism in Kenya. Thank you.
Second opposer, you have 3 minutes for cross-examination.
I have a right to be listened to, and I have a right to express myself based on the Chapter 4 of the Constitution under the Bill of Rights. I'm Chuna Samuel from St. Thomas Girls Secondary School, ready to oppose the motion that says one-party state will curb ethnicity. First of all, I would like to inform the judges that I'm a stammerer, and I'd like them to understand me. First of all, I'd like to answer the question which my fellow member has just posed. He said that, how will multi-party democracy solve ethnicity? Yes, it will solve ethnicity. Let's give examples of countries in the world. You have USA, whereby we have two parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Yet, it has also emerged to be one of the superpowers country in the world because there is peace, there is harmony in that, there is also unity in that country. Multi-party will also it will also make every group, every ethnic group to express themselves, because each one of us has a right to express themselves, and it is, and also we can also give out our views to the ruling party. We also have example of Tanzania. It has more than 120 tribes compared to Kenya, whereby we have more than 42 tribes. Yet they're united. They're living peacefully. They're living harmoniously compared to Kenya, whereby we have clashes each and every day. I'll also add on the role of the opposition party when we have multi-party democracy. The opposition party will give out their views, will be watching the ruling party and to look onto the mistake which they are making. Like a good example is in Kenya, the NYS scandal. It was brought out by the opposition party. Yet, thus we see that we get benefits when we have multi-party democracy. When you look, I beg to disagree with others saying that one-party state will curb ethnicity. Because if you look at example of countries in the world whereby we have one-party democracy, a good example is South Korea, North Korea, and also Vietnam, whereby these countries they're led by dictators. Hence, they cannot express their rights. Hence, they cannot express themselves. They cannot give out their views to the government. Is it really fair that you are a citizen of a certain country, yet you cannot be listened to, yet you cannot give out your views as the citizen of that country, and yet you belong to that country? I beg to disagree, because I have a right, and I have a right to be listened to, and I belong to that particular country, and not any other country. So, why don't I be listened to? Why don't they listen to me? Why don't I give out my views to them? I'd also like to disagree with my opponents by telling them that during the term of Kanu, whereby Kanu was the only leading party, we saw that it led to assassination of Tom Mboya because we had only one party. And when Tom Mboya was trying to give out his view to the government, actually he was even assassinated. Thereby, we don't curb ethnicity. We will not only curb ethnicity by having one party, but we'll also curb ethnicity by having multi-party democracy. Therefore, I rest my case. Thank you.
The proposers have been asked for the question session. Previously, Kenya was a one-party state, but if it was working in curbing ethnicity, why did we stop having the same and change to multi-party state? The opposers have been asked. They mentioned that there are states that are zero-party states, which is an example of this. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes to respond.
Okay, responding to the questions posed to the proposers is Roy Agassim from Dr. Agrrey Boys High School. Okay. They were asking if the one-party states, or why was it replaced with the multi-party state? Back then, we had the leaders wanted to benefit themselves. So they brought the multi-party system where that they may practice their greediness, and other leaders wanted to change the system so that they may benefit from it. So when they employed the multi-party system, many leaders could, political parties rose, and there was freedom that there may be more than 2 political parties that can rule. So this was changed because when these leaders decided to become greed, this turned now to make them to benefit from it. But if they were not greed, it could have been changed. So it was brought about the greediness of the leaders, so they wanted to change the system so that it may be fit for them to do their practices and their greediness in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, what comes into your mind when I mention the term ODM? What comes into your mind when I mention the term URP? Obviously, what comes to your mind is about tribe. I believe most of us are above 12 years. And if you're not, I guess you have to hear this. It will help you. In the year 2007, 2008, we had the post-election violence. Did you know the cause of it? It was because of PNU and ODM. They were fighting who's to take it. Suppose we could not be having the multi-party state, I guess this couldn't have happened. Many people lost their lives because of this. Many people died and property was lost. What about Congo? For the Form 4s, they may confer with me and may concur with me that in Book 4, we learn about Congo. Every now and then, there are conflicts between them. The recent one was last year, November, where very many people flee from their homes because of the fighting, because of the killings that were going place, because of the multi-party state. Many people are losing lives because of this. Because every tribe wants their party to be above. Let me tell you something. The wise men said, great men learn from other people's mistakes. For a great country, it has to learn from what other things or what other countries are experiencing. In China, they have one-party state, and it's a first world country. Every nation wants to become in the first world country. Why don't we employ the one-party state and help the countries? Thank you.
Third opposer, you have 3 minutes to respond.
Well, thank you for your very good question. You asked about examples of the non-party states. We have Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Saudi Arabia. In these states, we have no parties. And we can see that we have unity in such areas. Dubai, one of the most advanced countries, cities actually. Will you tell me, if you're not told to go to the Dubai right now and enjoy life, wouldn't you go? You see that in Dubai, there are no conflicts. I'm very happy right now if I'm told to go to Dubai and live there. I will go. And why is that? Because they have unity. We don't have conflicts there. We do not have cases of ethnicity there. Let's see. They say that the one-party state is helpful, but we're not saying that it should be capped. You know, we have this. We have the non-party states, we have the multi-party states that are helping us in very, very many ways. For example, the multi-party states, there is division of resources, whereby each area is represented by a member. Let's say, for an example, something is being distributed Article 32, 33, and 36 of the Constitution states that people they're allowed to form associations of any kind, meaning that they're allowed to express themselves, meaning that they're allowed to express their vision, their ideas on how they can better development. In one-party state, one person can rule. Let's say, for an example, in our schools today, We have cases where the principles are being changed every now and then. Why do you think they do that? They do that so as to allow people to come up with ideas so they can help development. And if we have non-party state, if we have that's under multi-party state. But if we have the one-party state, so the principals, the teachers ruling the schools over and over again, years come, years go. What about the ideas? They'll be so contained on one particular idea, and the people do not have ideas to express themselves. When one party state, they're not allowed to express their vision. Yes, they might give out the ideas to their party, but what about the other people? What about the other countries that are not represented? There's some people in the government that are being represented, mostly considered to other areas. What about those other areas? How are they going to be represented if not in the multi-party states? People, let's open our eyes to see what is happening in our country today. We have attacks here, they are coming in, coming out. But if we adopt the non-party state, if we adopt the zero-party state, do you really think it will be good? We won't have cases of attacks, conflicts here and there, because people they can live in unity, just like I said in Dubai, just like I said in Saudi Arabia, in Oman. We don't hear cases of conflicts there, and that's why I rest by saying that we do not say that one state is bad, but we are coming up with the alternatives to stop ethnicity in our country today. Thank you.
Proposition, you have 1 minute for a final submission.
Enough of UAE. Enough of Saudi Arabia. Enough of all those countries. Let's come back home. Let's come back to Kenya. Kenya is dying. Kenya yetu tunayoipenda daima is dying. Why? This is because of their ethnicity. People are losing jobs. People are dying. This is because communities rule Kenya. Kikuyu, Kamba, Luo. A study has shown that these 4 communities make up 66% of Kenyans. And it is these communities that bring forth their candidates who vie for the elective posts. The presidency revolves around the Kikuyu and the likes. This cannot go on. One-party state will bring equal representation because there'll be no elections, by the way. But they will try to be inclusive of all these communities. So please, let us not brag about UAE. Let us come home and see the challenges that face us here at home and how best we can tackle them. Thank you.
Opposers, you have 1 minute to give your final submission.
I agree with you to come back to Kenya, but I would like you to consider one of the minor groups in Kenya, the Wamakondes. It's just the past few years whereby we learned that they do exist in Kenya. However, they didn't have identical cards. They didn't have the citizenship of Kenya. Yet they lived here a long time ago. Thereby, you are saying that one party state will lead to ethnicity. Can you learn from this good example that we have the Makonde? They didn't have the right to belong to this country. Not until that they demonstrated. Not until that one of the person went to the government and represented them. Thus, they were given the right to express themselves, the right to belong to Kenya. Hence, multi-party state will help to reduce ethnicity. We can also benchmark in India, whereby we have 1866 political parties. Yet, it's one of the countries where we have peace compared to Eritrea, compared to China, where we have only one party. Actually, we don't oppose you, or we don't disagree with you, but we are trying to come up alternative that can also curb ethnicity. Not only one party style that can curb ethnicity, but also we have multi-party state and also we have non-partisan democracy. Thank you.
The examples given by the proposition were okay and good, all right, in terms of countries that have the one-party state. But now the question is, when we move from there, the discussion was not just about one party or multi-party or no party, but it's also about the statement, the correlation to curbing ethnicity. And so for you, you were going to show us with case examples of countries where just because they're one party, there is no ethnic tensions, all right? When that brought out, I think there could have been better ways of bringing it out, okay? Not just the positiveness of just a one-party state, but how it has curbed ethnicity, because this motion is two-part. To the opposition, and I think I want to just correct that Dubai isn't a country, and actually UAE is still not listed as a one-party state. I think there's a different way of looking at it. Nonetheless, you were trying to tell us that, listen, this one-party state will not work. Then what is it that will work? All right? So you wanted to really look at examples and not just give us the advantages of multi-party, because there was a lot of basis on the advantages of multi-party, and even sometimes you mentioned no party. No, that was not the motion. It was purely connecting to ethnicity, because this is a challenge that we face. For example, in this country, we are what? A multi-party system, is it? And we came from a one-party, then to multi-party. But have we dealt with ethnicity? So there are many examples there that we could have brought in to make this motion justified. So all the best to both teams.
And now to the numbers. St. Thomas Girls High School. The judges saw it fit to award you 64.7%. Let's give them a round of applause. Dr. Agrrey High School. The judges awarded you 65.3%, making you the winners of this debate. Congratulations to the teams on stage. Thank you for your effort in this debate.
Mahatma Gandhi once said, "You should be the change we seek." And here at the Great Debaters Contest, we push for that change by challenging each and every school to pick up the SDG challenge and implement at least one sustainable development goal and to bring change not only in their schools but also the country at large. Until the next episode, I've been your host, Chris Boru.
And I am Esperancia Kapanga. See you next time.